November 29th, 1943. 28,000 feet over Bremen, Germany. Staff Sergeant Eugene Paul Moran sits in the tailgun position of his B-17 Flying Fortress. The bomber is called Rikki-Tikki-Tavi. This is his 5th combat mission. German fighters swarm the formation. Messerschmitt Bf 109 seconds. Fast, deadly. They're tearing through the American bombers like wolves through sheep. Moran's job is simple. Defend the tail, keep the fighters off. He has 2 50 caliber machine guns, 600 rounds per minute each. He's fired them before. He knows what they can do. Then it happens. A fighter makes a head-on pass at the bomber. Cannon shells rip through the fuselage. The B-17 shudders, metal screams. Something catastrophic breaks. The plane snaps in half. Right behind the radio room, the tail section with Eugene Moran still inside separates from the main fuselage. 8 of his crewmates die instantly. The front section tumbles toward Earth. The tail section begins to fall. 4 miles to the ground, 28,000 feet. Terminal velocity in seconds. Most men would freeze, would pray, would accept death. Eugene Moran keeps firing. German fighters are still attacking, still circling. They think the falling tail section is some kind of weird aircraft, so Moran gives them what they expect. He pivots his guns, tracks the fighters, pulls the triggers. Tracer rounds arc through the sky from a tail section, falling at terminal velocity, spinning, tumbling, but still firing. Even the German flak batteries on the ground are confused. They see something falling, something shooting. They open fire. Anti-aircraft shells burst around him. Eugene Moran is falling 4 miles, being shot at by fighters, being shot at by ground batteries. And he's shooting back at everything. His teeth fillings pop out from the G-forces. His body is pressed against the guns. The wind is screaming. The tail is spinning. And he doesn't stop firing. This is the story of the most impossible combat action in World War II. The tail gunner who fought a dogfight while falling out of the sky. Eugene Paul Moran, 20 years old, farm boy from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Joined the Army Air Corps in 1942. He wanted to fly, wanted to serve, wanted to do his part. But he wasn't a pilot, didn't have the education for navigator or bombardier. So he became a gunner. The most dangerous job on a bomber, the position with the highest casualty rate in the 8th Air Force, tail gunner specifically. The loneliest position. You sit in a tiny compartment at the very back of the plane, separated from the rest of the crew, cramped, cold, isolated. Just you and 2 machine guns. Your job: protect the tail, shoot down any fighter that comes from behind. Most attacks come from behind, because that's where bombers are most vulnerable. The survival rate for tail gunners is brutal. 1 in 4 don't make it home. Some are shot. Some freeze to death at altitude. Some get trapped when the plane goes down. But Eugene Moran is good at it. Calm under pressure, steady hands, quick reflexes. By November 1943, he's flown 4 combat missions. He's seen fighters, seen flak, seen bombers explode beside him. But he's kept his cool, kept firing, kept surviving. November 29th, 1943. Mission number 5. The target is Bremen, Germany, a major port city, heavily defended. The Luftwaffe knows they're coming. 391 B-17 seconds take off from England. Moran's bomber, Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, is part of the 381st Bomb Group. They form up, climb to altitude, head east, across the North Sea. 28,000 feet, -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Oxygen masks required. Heated suits barely keeping them from freezing. This is combat at the edge of human endurance. The formation reaches Bremen. Flak fills the sky. Black bursts of exploding shells. The sound is deafening even through the bomber's aluminum skin. Bombers are hit. Some fall away trailing smoke. Some explode. The bomb run is completed. They turn for home. That's when the fighters arrive. Messerschmitt Bf 109 seconds. Focke-Wulf F1 190 seconds. They come in waves, head-on attacks, side attacks, diving attacks. The bombers' guns are firing constantly. Shell casings pile up. Gun barrels glow red-hot. Moran is in his tail position, tracking fighters, firing bursts, protecting his bomber. He's doing his job. Everything is under control. Then, the world explodes. A Bf 109 makes a frontal pass. 20mm cannon shells punch through the B-17's nose, through the cockpit, through the bomb bay, through the radio room. The bomber breaks in half, and Eugene Moran's war becomes something nobody could have imagined. The tail section separates from the main fuselage, clean break, right behind the radio room. The front half of the bomber, with the pilots, navigator, bombardier, and most of the crew tumbles away. 8 men, gone. Eugene Moran is alone, trapped in the tail section. No parachute in reach, no way out. Just him and his guns. The tail section begins to fall. Not straight down, it's gliding, spinning, tumbling, like a leaf falling from a tree. The aerodynamics of the tail surfaces create lift. It's falling, but not dropping, like a rock. Moran should be panicking, should be frozen with terror, but his training kicks in. His muscle memory takes over. He sees German fighters, still circling, still attacking other bombers in the formation. And he does what tail gunners do. He fires. His two 50 caliber Browning M2 machine guns are still operational, still loaded. The electrical system in the tail is still working. The triggers still function. So he pulls them. Tracer rounds stream out, bright lines of fire arcing through the sky. The fighters see it. They're confused. What is that? Some kind of aircraft? Some kind of drone? One Bf 109 closes in to investigate. Moran tracks him, leads the target, fires. The fighter breaks off. Whether Moran hit him or just scared him, it doesn't matter. The fighter leaves, but Moran keeps falling. The ground is rushing up. 4 miles to cover. At terminal velocity, he has maybe a minute, maybe less. The tail section is spinning. The centrifugal force is crushing. Moran is pressed against his guns. His body feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. The G-forces are incredible. His teeth fillings pop out. Just pop right out of his mouth. The pressure is that intense. And he's still firing. Not continuously. In bursts. When he can. When the spinning tail section lines up with a target. He's fighting. Even though he's falling. Even though death is seconds away. He's still fighting. German anti-aircraft batteries on the ground see something falling. Something shooting. They think it's an aircraft. They open fire. 88mm flak shells burst around him. Black puffs of smoke. Shrapnel. They're trying to shoot down a falling tail section. Moran is being shot at from above, being shot at from below, and he's shooting back at both. The altimeter in his head is counting down. 20,000 feet, 15,000, 10,000. The ground is visible now. Fields, trees, buildings. He's going to hit hard. 5,000 feet, 3,000. He braces, grips the guns. There's nothing else to hold on to. The tail section is spinning faster. The wind is screaming. 1,000 feet, 500, 200. The tail section hits a tree. The impact is catastrophic. Metal crumples. Branches snap. The tail bounces, hits the ground, slides, tumbles, stops. Silence. Eugene Moran is alive. Somehow, impossibly, he's alive. But he's destroyed. Both arms broken, ribs cracked, skull fractured, blood everywhere. He can't move, can't call for help, just lies there in the wreckage. German soldiers find him hours later. They're stunned. They saw the tail section fall, saw it shooting, thought it was some kind of American secret weapon. Now they find a 20-year-old kid, barely conscious, broken, but alive. They pull him out, take him prisoner. He's treated for his injuries, barely. German field hospitals are overwhelmed. Medical supplies are scarce. He gets splints for his arms, bandages for his head. That's it. He survives the injuries. The broken bones heal wrong, but they heal. The skull fracture doesn't kill him. The internal bleeding stops. His body refuses to die. But the war isn't over for Eugene Moran. Not even close. He's taken to a POW camp, Stalag Luft 4. Conditions are brutal. Starvation rations. No heat, overcrowding, disease. He weighs 200 pounds when he's captured. Within months, he's down to 150. And then it gets worse. January 1945. The Soviets are advancing from the east. The Germans evacuate the camp. They force the prisoners to march west, 600 miles, in the middle of winter, with almost no food. It's called the Black March. Thousands die. Exposure, starvation, exhaustion. Shot by guards for falling behind. Eugene Moran survives. Day after day, mile after mile, he survives. April 26, 1945. British forces liberate the column. Eugene Moran weighs 128 pounds. He's a skeleton. But he's alive, still alive. The tail gunner who kept firing while falling 4 miles survived the fall, survived the injuries, survived the POW camp, survived the death march, against every possible odd. Eugene Moran returns home to Minnesota. Summer 1945. The war in Europe is over. He's awarded the Purple Heart, the Air Medal, recognition for his service. But nobody believes the story about firing his guns while falling, about surviving a 4-mile fall in a tail section. It sounds impossible, like propaganda, like exaggeration. Even his own family struggles to believe it. A plane broke in half and you survived? You kept shooting while falling? Come on. For decades, the story exists only in Moran's memory, in some dusty military records, in the memories of German soldiers who saw it happen, but no official recognition, no documentation, no proof. Moran doesn't talk about it much, doesn't embellish, doesn't seek attention. He goes back to civilian life, works, raises a family, lives quietly. The war is behind him. He dies in 1990, age 67. His obituary mentions he was a veteran, a tail gunner, but nothing about the fall, nothing about the impossible survival. The story almost dies with him, almost becomes one of those lost tales, forgotten, unverified. Just another war story that nobody can prove. But then, 2022, a historian named John Armbruster starts researching, digging through archives, German records, American records, POW camp documents, testimonies from German soldiers who witnessed the fall. He pieces it together, the full story, the verification, the proof, the incredible, impossible, unbelievable truth. Eugene Moran's story is real, every detail, the fall, the shooting, the survival, all of it. Armbruster publishes a book, Tailspin, An American Tail Gunner's War. The story finally gets told, properly, completely, with documentation, and it's exactly as incredible as Moran said it was. No exaggeration needed. The truth is insane enough. The book reveals details even Moran's family didn't know. The G-forces that popped his fillings, the German flak batteries shooting at a falling tail section, the 17 months in POW camps, the 600-mile death march, the survival against every statistical probability. Modern aviation experts analyze the fall, the aerodynamics of the tail section, how it glided instead of dropping straight down, how that gliding action saved his life, how the tree he hit acted like a crumple zone, how every single factor had to align perfectly for survival. The odds of surviving a fall like that? 1 in 10 million. Maybe worse. The odds of surviving it and then surviving POW camps and a death march? Incalculable. Eugene Moran did it. The farm boy from Minnesota. The tail gunner who refused to stop fighting, even when his plane was falling out of the sky. Today, Eugene Moran's story is taught at Air Force survival schools as an example of the will to survive, the refusal to give up, the instinct to keep fighting no matter what. Modern tail gunners, the weapons officers on combat aircraft, study his actions, not because they'll ever be in a falling tail section, but because of what he represents: training, discipline, muscle memory. When everything goes wrong, you do your job. You don't freeze. You act. The B-17 Flying Fortress is retired now. The last combat mission was in 1945. But Moran's tailgun position is preserved in museums, the same cramped compartment, the same guns. Visitors sit in it. Try to imagine. 28,000 feet, negative 40 degrees, fighters attacking, and then the plane breaks in half. Most can't imagine it, can't comprehend the terror, the chaos, the impossible decision to keep fighting instead of accepting death. But Eugene Moran didn't have to imagine it. He lived it. Fell 4 miles, firing his guns, defying death, surviving the unsurvivable. November 29th, 1943, over Bremen, Germany. A plane breaks in half. 8 men die instantly. 1 man falls and keeps firing. The tail gunner who fought a dogfight while plummeting to earth, who survived a 4-mile fall, who survived 17 months of hell after that, who came home, who lived quietly, who almost took the story to his grave. Eugene Paul Moran, the most impossible survival in World War II. Remember his name.